Okay, very good evening to everyone. Guys, please let me know whether I'm audible and visible to you or not through this technical poll. Guys, please Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so today we are going to start our last topic of the chapter, that is biodiversity conservation. But before starting the topic, let's recall the previous topics or the previous lecture which we have done, right? So to recalling that previous whatever we have learned, we have a question here. So the question is, what does the evil quartet describe? What does the evil quartet describe? We have already talked about why the biodiversity is keep on decreasing. Okay, why the changes are taking place, and there were four reasons. That is why we are calling it a quartet. So your options are A, an increase in the number of species. B, the decrease in the number of species, mass extinction, and formation of the universe. So you can give your answer through this poll. I'm launching the poll. Please give your answer through this. Okay. So here I'm ending the poll. You can see the results here. Out of the 100% in participants, 50% have chosen for the option B and 50% have chosen for the option C. Okay, so let's check what is the actual answer. So as we have seen here, okay, we have seen the causes, right? The causes for the decrease of our biodiversity, right? And the decrease of biodiversity was due to the habitat loss and fragmentation, the overexploitation, the alien species invasion, and co-extinction, right? So these were the causes, and each and every cause were leading to the extinction of some species. Each and every cause was leading to the extinction of some species. Sometimes it was very high number of species, sometimes it was very small number of species which are going to be damaged. Okay, so according to that, we can say that this evil quartet describes the decrease in the number of species. We cannot say it is causing the mass extinction. Okay, the mass extinction happened like when the ice age appeared. Okay, when the ice age appeared, when that time whole whole organism who are living during the in a temperate region get completely extinct. So in a mass extinction, we are using or we are eliminating more than 50% of the species. But here we are not eliminating more than 50% of the species. Instead, the number of species is keep on decreasing here, right? So we can say the evil quartet, which is given here, is actually decreasing the number of species instead of causing mass extinction. Okay, clear to everyone? Okay, so now moving towards our today's topic, that is biodiversity conservation. Okay, before starting this topic, just let me know what you think about bioconservation through this question. What is an important reason for the conservation of natural resources? Why we want to conserve the natural resources? Your option are A, disturb the ecological balance, preserve the biological diversity, C, distribution of quality of the environment, and D, hampering the biological species. Okay, the question is understandable. So here is your poll, so you can give your answer, that what is an important reason, okay, what is an important reason for the conservation of natural resources? Okay, very good. So everyone has given their answer. So this is the result, as everyone has chosen for the option B. And option B says to preserve the biological diversity. We are doing this to preserve the biological diversity, and this is right. That is why we need for the conservation. If we want to disturb the ecological balance, why we are going to conserve anything? Why we are going to make so much of effort, right? So the answer B is correct. Now, the main reasons. The reasons for the conservation of our biodiversity has been categorized into three different groups. Okay. So the first is the narrow utilization. Okay. The first is narrowly utilitarian arguments. The second is broadly utilitarian arguments. And the last one is ethical arguments. Okay. So here we have reserved, or we have grouped the reason according to their need. Okay. So as we go for the narrow, the word is itself say narrow. That means the reasons behind the conservation is very small. Okay. So here are the narrowly utilitarian arguments. As you know, human always fulfill its needs or satisfy its needs by taking the help of the nature. Okay, it always takes the economical balance benefits in the form of having wood, having food, having construction material, having medicine through the plants and all. So whatever the benefit human is taking, whatever the benefit human is taking from the nature, right? It is our narrow utilitarian argument. That is, they are the very small reason behind the conservation of our biodiversity. Okay, so in this small uses or utilization, okay, first is says that we are deriving more than 25% of the drugs from the plant, and more than 25,000 species of the plants have the medicinal value. Okay. Next, it says the broadly utilitarian argument, that the fulfilling of our basic needs is the narrow region, is a very small region for the conservation of our biodiversity. But when we go for the broad regions, right? When we go for the broad, yani major region, so it says, you know, the Amazon is such a vast, you can say, the forest region, that it makes the 20% of the total oxygen present in the atmosphere. And that is why the Amazon is known as the lungs of the planet. If the Amazon forest is not there, we are unable to survive, because there will be a lack of 20% in the oxygen level, right? So if we keep on cutting these forests, okay, if the size of the Amazon forest keep on reducing, we are getting that much small amount of oxygen. So that is a major issue, because in this we are not fulfilling our small needs. Here we are fulfilling our those needs which are required for the survival of us, right? So next we can say for the pollination, we use the bees, the bumblebees, birds and bats. If we extinct the flowers, these bees, plants, birds and bats would not be able to survive. So we are causing what? are major issues here. ठीक है, so these are the major reasons, because एक species के जाते ही या एक particular cause की वजह से, एक particular action की वजह से, not only the humans, instead another organisms are also getting affected. That is why it is kept under the broadly utilitarian arguments. Okay, and the last is ethical argument. As you know, we humans have a life, we survive, right? We feel something, we have our emotions. Same thing is related to the other organism. With our animals, with our plants, we feel that they are also having life, right? We used to worship some plant trees as well, right? We worship some animals as well. Okay, so it says the main ethical issue is that the each and every species of either plant or animal or any kind of living organism has its own intrinsic value, has its own emotions, its uh, you can say the feelings, right? And it is our moral duty, it is our moral duty to not harm any organism, right? Because they are also living on this earth like us. Okay, so these are the three major regions or the three main categories of the reason due to which we need to conserve our biodiversity. Okay, and for this conservation of biodiversity, we have two different conservation methods. First method is in situ conservation and another is ex situ conservation. In situ conservation means inside, on site. That means the conservation is taking place in their natural habitat. The conservation is taking place within their natural habitat. Okay, so the conservation of genetic resource within the natural or human-made ecosystem in which they occur. Human-made ecosystem. For example, we can say we have created a forest in a smaller barren land. So that forest is human created. That was not created by the nature. So if some organism surviving in that natural environment, okay, it can either be created by human or the nature itself, that comes under the in situ conservation. And these in situ conservation areas include the national parks, sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, cultural landscapes, natural monuments, etc. And India itself has 14 biosphere reserves, 90 national parks, and 448 wildlife sanctuaries. So these are the forest areas which we have done the fencing. Let's discuss about these in detail. So first is our national. Okay, the first is our national park. Okay, so this is the place, this is the region of some mountain, some forest, some grassland or something. So with this area we have prevented, we have made a fencing around this particular area, we have a boundaries. Okay, and within this area we are not allowing, okay, here they have strictly reserved for the welfare of the wildlife, okay, where private ownership, that means a person running their cultivation, their own farming, their factories are there, they that kind of activities are strictly prohibited. That particular area is only for the wildlife, for the flora and the fauna of that particular region. No external organism or the human activity is allowed in that particular region. And the example for that national park is Ernakulam National Park, which is present in Kerala. Okay. Then we have the sanctuaries. Okay. Then we have the sanctuaries. Sanctuaries is also a protection area, but there we are not making fences. That is a limited region, that is the bounded region. Okay, and this region along with the wildlife, some private activities also takes place. For example, the collection of timber, the collection of minor forest products, for example, fruits, the medicinal plants, all these private work also take place, but only to an extent when they are not harming any wildlife. Okay, the private activities are only allowed till they are not harming any wildlife, any animal. Okay, so example for that is Barrier Wildlife Sanctuary, which is also present in Kerala. Initially, we have talked about the national park. Okay, and the second we have also that was Ernakulam National Park, which is also present in Kerala. And here we also have the wildlife sanctuary, that is Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, which is also present in the Kerala. Okay. Okay. There is one doubt. Okay. So Yadagiri, you are asking what is mean by hampering. Okay, you are asking from the question there. The question was hampering the biological species. That means hindering something. There we are not allowing them to explicit or flourish. Hampering means to resisting something. Okay. So by this natural conservation, we are not resisting something to flourish. Okay. So hampering is the to resist something. Okay. Now we move further. Till now, everything is clear to everyone? If is it clear, please use the thumbs up reaction sign which is present to given for you. Okay, thank you for the response. Okay, now we are moving towards the next in situ conservation reason, that is the Biosphere Reserve. That is our Biosphere Reserve. So this is the land or the coastal ecosystem. When we are talking about the Biosphere Reserve, it is containing a particular geographical region, or we can say we are itself conserving an ecosystem in which, along with the wildlife, the humans are also staying. Okay, so you can see here in this picture, this is the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, where humans are also doing their private work. Along with that, the wildlife is also completely secured, because in these regions, the hunting, the poaching, everything is completely banned. Okay. Then for the in situ conservation, we have sacred groves. We have sacred groves, which we also can the sacred forest. The area where we usually worship the trees and the animals. Okay, the sacred means the area, or the sacred forest means the forest in which we have most of the, we can say, the plant species and animal species which are worshipped. So the forest fragments which are commonly protected based on their religious belief, as I said, they are worshipped. So here the forest and their areas of the forest are prevented or protected based on their religious belief, right? So sacred groves are present in the hilly region of Meghalaya, that is Khasi and Jaintia. In Rajasthan, we have Aravalli Hills. In Maharashtra and Karnataka region, the Western Ghat. Okay, the most important Western Ghat. And in Madhya Pradesh, we have Sarguja, Chanda, and Bastra. So these are the some regions which are protective on the basis of their religious belief. Okay, so now here is your question. What are the species confined to a particular region and not found anywhere else called? Okay, so when we are doing the in situ conservation, we are also securing those species of animals which are bound to a particular region. Okay, try to answer this question. Your options are A, pandemic, B, endemic, C, extinct, and D, vulnerable. Okay, so according to you, what is that particular species called which is surviving only in a particular geographical region? Try to give your answer. Your option A was pandemic, option B was endemic, option C was extinct, and option D was vulnerable. Okay, great. So as you can see your result, 50% of you have given answer B and 50% of you have given answer C. Okay, let's check it. C, the pandemic. The pandemic is not any kind of species. Extinct, see, the term extinct means completely invisible, which is not existing. But here we are talking about the species which are not found anywhere, but they are found. They are particularly confined to a particular region. They are not extinct. They are not invisible. Their members are still surviving. So that species is known as endemic species. Endemic, that is within a particular region. Okay, the species, for example, we can take the kangaroo. Okay, the kangaroos are only confined to the Australia region. They are not found anywhere else. So the kangaroo, koala bears, these are the endemic species. Okay. Now we are moving towards the second type of conservation method, that is ex situ conservation. That means we are taking our wildlife, the flora and fauna, out of their own habitat. We are taking them out of their actual habitat to conserve them, to protect them. Okay. So for that, the first example we have genetic resource center. Okay, what do you understand by this term genetic resource center? Can anyone try to tell me what is the meaning of this genetic resource center? Try to take out the meaning from these words. Okay, no one. See, these centers are the resource. These are the regions from where we can get the genes of anything. So as you can see in the first picture, you can see different types of seeds are there. In the second, you can see a particular kind of plants are grown in a nursery. You can see here a glass chamber is present. Okay, so in genetic resource center, beta, we are conserving the different types of seeds. Very good, Yadagri. We are preserving the extinct species genicity. Not even extinct, we are also preserving the genicity of those organisms which are endangered. Okay, so that if in future they get extinct, we are able to revive them. Okay, next is the zoological park. Zoological park, you commonly call them zoo. Okay, so zoos are the area where animals are preserved. Animals are kept outside their habitat, but this is not a very good practice to prevent the organism, because when they are out of their habitat, they become uncomfortable, right? Because everything is under controlled manner, and these wild organisms are formed like to live in a free environment, but here they have to be stay in a bound environment. So ethically it is not right, but we need to do that. Otherwise, if they kept outside, they might be get dead due to environmental condition or by the some human activity. Okay, and the next is wildlife safari parks. So you have seen a particular region of forest is conserved where the people can visit through the buses, through the jeeps, and they can see the animals roaming here and there on their own without disturbance of any human activity. But each and everything provided in these areas are also under control of the department, the forest department. Next, we have the botanical gardens. Do you know the any example of botanical garden in our Delhi? There are so many botanical gardens. These are the gardens specifically where you can find each and every type of plant. Okay, each and every type of plant. The medicinal plants are there, ornamental plants are there, fruiting plants are there. Each and every kind of plant is found there. In fact, you will find all those species of plant there who are not usually found in that geographical region or geographical area. So these botanical gardens are also the tourist attraction. Tourists went there, people go there and observe, or these are the areas which are used for the field trip as well, to observe how many kind of species of plant are found in that particular geographical region, and apart from that, what are the species of the same kind are present outside that geographical region. Then we have the gene bank. Okay, and then the cryo preservation. In cryo preservation, we kept the DNA, and for example, if we go for the animals, the sperms and the ovums are preserved under the liquid nitrogen. Okay, that is cryo preservation under freezing environment, so that they will not get degraded with the passing time. Okay, so next, I think the last topic of this chapter is the hotspot. So there are, what are hotspot? Hot spot, hot means sizzling, right? But this hot doesn't mean the sibling. Sizzling, this hot means the rich. Okay, the rich spots. Rich in what? Rich in biodiversity. Okay, rich in biodiversity. That means here we find a good amount of fauna and flora. Here we find different varieties, a good varieties of flora and fauna. So these are the regions with very high species richness, high degree of endemism. That is this is what I have asked you. The species which is confined only to a specific region, but most threatened. In our world, we have total 34 hotspots, out of which 3 are under the India. The 3 hotspots are just under the India, that is Western Ghat, Sri Lanka, and Indo-Burman and Himalaya. Okay, Indo-Burma border जो है. Then all these hotspots together carry only less than 2% of the earth. Okay, you know the 30% is the area of the earth is land. Out of that, only 2%. Out of that 30, only 2% earth land is present as a hotspot region, or we can say the region where a good amount of a good variety of animals and the plants are seen. And the protection of hotspot reduced the ongoing extinction by 30%, which is a good news for us. If we keep on protecting this hotspot, if we restrict the illegal activities, human activities in these regions, then we are able to protect the extinction of the species, so that the no more loss of biodiversity will takes place, and day by day we get a good diversity, good variations, and good kind of species in a coming time. Okay, so here is your question. So your question says, what is the protection and conservation of species in their natural habitat called? Here we are talking about the preservation and protection, not the preservation, the protection and the conservation of species in their natural habitat. Your options are A, in situ conservation, B, ex situ conservation, C, off-site conservation, and D, no conservation. You can give your answer through this poll. Very good. Okay, so everyone has chosen, as you can see, option A. Very good. So that is the correct answer. This is what we have just learned, that if the species are kept in their natural habitat and conserved, that comes under the in situ conservation. Okay. And to conserve this biodiversity, we have done so many conferences and meetings in between the countries so that the biological diversity would not get any harm and we are able to conserve them. Okay, by mutual understanding and mutual relationship or allegation. We can say the agreement. Okay, so the first is our Earth Summit. The first conference or at the international levels what taken place as the name of Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. And the objective of this Earth Summit was to conserve the biodiversity, to start the sustainable use of biodiversity so that our future generation is also able to see the biodiversity which we have seen, and sharing the benefits of arising uh, from the genetic resources. Now we are having a great practice of doing the hybridization, right? And these hybrids are leading to the formation of new species. So these are the objectives of the Earth Summit so that we can conserve our biological diversity. And the second summit was known as the World Summit, and that was taken place in Johnsonburg in 2002, just after 10 years, just after 10 years of the what? Just after 10 years of this Earth Summit, right? So, in this World Summit on Sustainable Development, which is held in 2002, Johnsonburg, South Africa, 190 countries have taken pledge. They have taken pledge on conserving our wildlife, our flora and fauna, so that the biodiversity loss rate will be decreased. Okay, is this clear to everyone? Okay, so today's last question for you is, how many total biodiversity hotspots are present throughout the world? We have done it earlier, right? When we were studying hotspot, how many hotspots are found throughout the world? Your option A is 20, option B 80, option C 55, and option D says 34. You can give your answer through this poll, that how many hotspots are present in the world, not in the India. It is talking about the Earth. Give your answer quickly. Okay, great. You have given a very fast response. I'm very happy with you, and I'm so much appreciating your what you can say, the answers, because everyone has given the answer D, which is 100% correct answer. We have total 34 hotspot in the world, and out of which how many hotspots are present in India? Tell me how many hotspots are present in India? Give your answer fast in chat box. You can write the number there. How many hotspots are there? Three, just we have seen. We have three hotspot region in the India, the Indo-Burma region, Sri Lanka. Very good, Kalburgi. You have given a correct answer. That is three. Okay. So here you can see the Western Ghats, Sri Lanka, Indo-Burman region of the Himalaya. These are the three hotspots of the India where we have a species richness. So with this, we have completed our chapter. Do you guys have any doubt in this chapter? Do you have any doubt? Or you are facing any difficulty in this chapter? Okay, very good. I'm very happy to know that you don't have any doubts here and you are not facing any difficulty with this chapter. So this is your homework that you have to read the NCERT. See, as I already told you, the ecology, for the ecology, the examples and the major quotes which is given in your NCERT are very important for the NEET point of view. So you have to go through your NCERT along with module line by line. You start preparing your short notes of the NCERT, and apart from that, you have to start practicing your module question so that you get to know how much understanding of the topic you have and how much hard work you need to do. Okay, so with this, we are going to complete our class. Please give your feedback through this NPS poll. After giving your feedback, you guys can leave the class. Okay, thank you so much for the participation. Now you can leave the class. Here we have completed our biodiversity chapter, and tomorrow onwards we are going to start our last chapter of the ecology, that is the environmental issue. Okay, so by day after tomorrow we are able to complete our ecology, so don't miss the class and be there. Okay, with this we have completed our today's class. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye. Good night, guys.